Hi folks, Lez Graham here from the Pet Gun Dog and also Train for Life. I want to tell you about my candles. So when I was going live in lockdown, I don't know if you remember, it seems like such a long time ago, such a distant memory. I used to go live on a Wednesday. I used to do Wednesday walks on Facebook, and I would take you to different places. I think, God, this smells amazing, or you can smell the rain if we went out, sitting in the woods and stuff. So I then decided to chat to my friend who owned Inora Candles, the lovely Terry, and she helped me find some oils that made me think of the different dog walks that I went on. And we spent about 9 months or so. It took about 9 months to find the right one, and I wanted them to be pet friendly. I wanted them to be dog friendly. So when we burn a candle, the smell, the scent molecules float on the air, and then they go up the nose and into the olfactory system. And so I wanted to make sure that the oils I was burning were going to be animal friendly oils, you see. So it took about 9 months for us to find the oil, and then it was getting time together where she could teach me how to pour my candles, you see. So in total it took about a year, and I've come up with, I'm just Spud making the little nest. So I've come up with 4 candles which people of my generation, if you're the same age as me or remember the same age as me, it'll make you think of the Two Ronnies sketch, and it made me think of them as well. Originally there was 5 candles, but then they discontinued one of the oils that I really liked. So I thought I would put the humour into it and make them 4 candles. So it's 4 candles. They're called outside in anyway, outside in candles. And I'll go through them, what I think are the seasons. It turned out that, funnily enough, it turned out that the 4 candles were also 4 seasons. So if we look at the first one, which is Beachcomber, and we don't know if you can see that or not, the label, but it's Beachcomber. And it makes me think of beach walks, which is why I call it Beachcomber. So, do you know, when you go for these like really blustery, I'm probably not selling this one very well, but it's like those lovely blustery wild walks on the beach, where it's like there's a lot of surf and you can smell the seaweeds. You've got like the salty seaweed and the salty sea, and it's all a bit briny, and it just smells amazing. It smells a little bit wild, a little bit fun, a little bit salt, when you go home and have a nice hot cup of tea afterwards. So that's what it makes me think. It's quite a spicy smell. And then it was summer strolls, which when I smelled, it took me ages to get the smell on it. And I'm just going to light one so you can see what they look like on the light. When I found this particular one, it immediately took me back to when I was 13, 14. And I used to go down to the stables with my mates down at Malham's, and we used to get these deliveries of cut grass, in the summer when the grass wasn't great. And we'd get these deliveries of cut grass, and they'd just dump this big load of cut grass in the yard, and we used to have to spread it, because we couldn't let the horses get colic. And if it heated up, then you could end up giving the horses colic. So we used to spread the grass on the field, and it was always wet grass. And when I smelled this particular oil, it took me back to then. And then a couple of days later, I went for a walk on the field, and it was just after it had rained, and it was the same smell. And it was, I must remember what it's called, but it's actually the smell of rain. That's what it smells like. So do you know when you go for a walk in the summer and you've had like a heavy rainfall, people have been cutting the grass, and it's just that lovely, fresh, earthy smell? Well, that one's summer strolls. And I actually sent it to my friend Karen, who I haven't seen for years. We connect on Facebook, but I haven't seen her since really, when we were both young mums. And I used to go to the stables with her. And I sent it to her and I said, "Does this take you back?" And she says, "Yes, it does." She couldn't believe it. So I'm not the only one that it really brought back these amazing memories of summer. And then that was summer strolls. Okay, that one's there. So they all got the same labels, but just different names on it. and it just says Summer Strolls, Outside In, Scented Candle by Lez Graham. It's got a little paw print on there. And then Frosty Fields is the autumn one, which is it's, do you know, when you go out, certainly in the village where I am, there's still a lot of wood burners, and you walk out and it's frosty, and there's that real nip and tingle to your nose, you know, as the frost tingles your nose, and the wood burners are going, and it's that intake of breath, you know, when you first go and you take a big lungful of frost. That's kind of the tingle that it's got. I think it just, to me, it just smells of like Frosty Fields, which is why I called it Frosty Fields. You can almost, when you smell it, you can almost like feel the crunch of the frost under your feet. And then the last one is the one that I'm late, because it's one that I've been lighting, is this one, which is Tis the Season. Can you see that? Tis the Season. And so that's what they look like when they burn. There you go. They're very pretty. It's in an amber jar. And I'll snuff the candle out at the end. You can use the lid as a snuffer. And if you clean them out afterwards, actually, it'll make a really good pen holder as well. I've got one on my desk. So Tis the Season, I've got to say, is my favourite because it reminds me of the shooting season. And all Christmas, you know, you could, if you're not into shooting, then Christmas will probably work as well. But Tis the Season, and it's either when you've been out walking, but for me it was, you know, you come back after a really cold day on the shooting field and you've been out picking up with your dog or beating. I'm a picker up, so for me it's like you go out, you pick up, and you get back, or you go to the pub, and for me it was going to my mates, and I'd stand in front of the Olga and have a hot drink, and it was just, it's all of that just brought in. And it also made me think of like when you get in from a really, really, really cold dog walk in the winter, and you go to the pub and there's an open fire, a leather armchair, you've got a dog at your feet, and you have something nice and warm in your hand, whether it's, you know, a hot cup of tea or a hot toddy, or an Irish coffee, a slow gin, anything like that. And that, to me, that's what it brought all of those lovely smells and memories back. And again, it's another earthy one. All four of the candles are really earthy. They're not very, none of them are perfumey, or is the only way I can think about it. You know, none of them are sweet, and none of them are perfumey. You know, you get some quite perfumed candles. These are all very earthy fragrances. And to me, they just take me on my dog walks. So they are the four candles, outside in, because it's bringing the outside in. They're the four candles that I've done. I've put them up on the Pet Gun Dog Club, some information on that website, just because that's the website that I'm really focusing on at the minute, so I put them there. I hand pour them all myself, so I can't do an automatic sale for them. If you just drop me a message, drop me an email, and we'll see what we've got in stock, if depending on what you want. So that's them there, and as I say, you can just use the lid as a snuffer, so you don't have to blow the candles out, and that way you don't get like the smoke coming off them at all. But because they're made out of soy wax, they're really clean burning, so you shouldn't really have an issue with that. But I really like using the lid as a snuffer. Anyway, that is it. Thank you for watching. And yeah, outside in, four candles by Lez Graham. And I hope you enjoy them. You take care.